Alrighty, that's both streams started. Let's get live. Hello, everyone. Hi. Alright. I'm just going to be working on the same 4 boys. I'm going to cut to the chase here today. I want to do more experimenting on these. I don't feel the energy to go into a new project, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to try and do armor and stuff, and I tried stamping, and it looks okay, but for checkerboards, I don't know if I'm going to get the control I want. But pretty good result for how fast it is. Anywho, let's see who's been saying hi in chat while we get set up here. Let's see, it looks like Gecko Gill was first to the chat, but didn't get the redeem. Go sneak that in really quick. And then we've got Albanese, hello. Hi, Bodhi, welcome to chat. Go follow Bodhi if you missed that shout out earlier. And then it looks like we've got JD Lady as well. Hello, JD. I'm sorry, I think I broke your watch streak by streaming on Wednesday last week. I apologize for that. Ah, Gecko got it. Thank you for reserving that for the actual first to chat, Gecko Gill. But let's see. Recently been trying terrain. Me too. I've kind of stopped painting my terrain. But yeah, Gecko Gill, you came into the stream. You came in the chat with a very good question, which is, I've been having a dilemma. Is it okay to not paint for a few months? Yeah, absolutely. That's pretty normal. You mentioned you're in school. I didn't even pick up Warhammer until I was fully out of college and stuff. So, okay, hi Nico. Just don't mess with my drink, please. Yeah, it's definitely okay to take time off, and that's a really great topic to start with because I think I announced this officially on my YouTube, and I've talked about it here a few times, but I will be taking time off this summer where I won't even be I will be painting, but I won't be streaming or like making videos about stuff. I do still like to paint, and as soon as I can get back to it, I'm going to. But yeah, I'm not gonna do the hard things, which are making, projects into stories and broadcasting them and trying to be entertaining with the painting. Oh wow, I'm not zoomed in at all. Apologies. I'm just gonna finish painting over this to get a nice foundation for what's coming next. And I need a paper towel. But yes, I think Albanese is correct that you should take a break. I liked the message, don't hyphen, give yourself grace. The hyphen's doing a lot of work there. It's like one of those commas save lives posts. Don't give yourself grace. Ooh, bad advice. Don't give yourself grace. Fantastic. Ha. It's okay. I saw, but have been away from computer a bit lately. Yeah, it's all good. The foam is scary. I've just finished a half rock elemental sitting in the dining room for a month. That's pretty cool. Painting foam is foam. I mean, you're making the stuff. That's pretty wild. Yeah, no, I don't know. I got surgery coming up. Been talking about that. I'm exhausted about it this week. I'm trying to use the painting as a way of feeling more energetic. So, let's focus on that, I guess. Although, now that I've got the shoulder pad black again, I think I'm going to mess with bases first. Bases are more fun. Got a little dry brush. Made by this great hobby painting brand, Elf. Elf from the stupid AT&T commercial that was on constantly this Christmas. Gotta love Elf. Gotta be one of my favorite characters. Let's talk about what I'm actually painting, though. Whoop. So you'll notice I've got these nice dirty bases. And something that I've learned, and y'all are gonna learn it now, is that when you use wrong brush, when you use this like basing mud texture stuff, it's apparently, as I've learned, a good idea to paint over top of it. Because on its own, it's not going to do, an awesome job. So we're just going to try and sneak in here with the dry brush. And just get some different tones going on the dirt. That's a bit much. Hey, see, even that is making a difference. Now, one of the things I'm curious to try when I do my Armageddon box later this year, I'm still freaking determined to make that happen. Oh, money keeps getting tighter. I'm budgeting for it, I'm going to do it. Anyway, one of the things I'm going to try when I do my Armageddon box is I'm going to try to paint the bases separately ahead of painting the rest of the Orks. Because so far what I've done is I paint the Orks and then I put the bases on at the end, which works fine if you're going to paint them on their, you know, little bases, right? But I think what I should do for the Armageddon box is get out a whole crap ton of corks. Lord knows I have enough of them in the closet over there. And I'm going to paint all the bases up together in like a batch painting, and I'm going to make them all look really snazzy. Because right now my bases are kind of looking drab, which is okay for little guys like this, but I think I want them to look just a little nicer. Alright, are we seeing results, folks? Please zoom. Please slap. I'm sort of seeing results. There's a little bit more life happening here. I think there's more life there. Let's do a 3-foot test. I mean, it's ever so slightly better looking. So you can't really... Here, you do the 3-foot test with your smartphones or whatever you're watching on. Desktops? I could look up the stats if I want to know what y'all are watching on. You don't have to tell me. Quick question, how do you get the right amount of paint on a dry brush? Well, I'll show you what I do. I'll show you what I'm doing right now. It's probably not what I should be doing. But basically, the right amount of paint for a dry brush depends entirely on what you're doing. It's like thinning paint. So it's not a science, and it really depends on the result you want to get. But I'm just putting some paint on my palette. I'm loading up a little bit on this brush. This has very stiff bristles, and it's not very thirsty. This brush is thirsty as hell. This drinks half the paint you put in it and doesn't even put it out, so I don't know if I'm going to use this blender. But anyway, yeah, this is a nice brush. So then I'm just using a paper towel, and then you can basically just brush out the pigment until you'll notice that the more I brush, the less color is getting left behind. And so that's how you can control how much is in the dry brush. So this is very dry, and if I run it over here, that's super subtle. I'm not even seeing it, right? Like there's not even a noticeable effect there. This is literally mud. I don't care if it looks muddy, that's actually ideal, so I'm gonna leave like way more on. Okay, see, that was like way too much. That's way too wet. So I'm gonna take a little off. And yeah, that's more what I wanted there, right? So it's kind of an experimentation thing. Or I use cheap textured base to remove paint. Oh yeah, that's a thing people do that I feel like I should try. And I just haven't tried it yet. Hello, Panda! Go follow Panda if you haven't. It's good to see you again. Peeking out alert. Peeking out alert. Oh, peeking out alert to say hi. Everything is chaos here, so I'm lurking and working. Yeah, it's starting to get to be a chaotic season in my life, but I'm sticking to the mini painting to get through. Panda, I don't know if oh goodness, thank you for the shout out. Yeah, I've got that auto shout out thing that I think Riot's sister passed it on to me, I think, or it was June Gold. I feel so bad getting them mixed up. One of them two passed it along to me. And I mixed them up because they're in the same, they run a Discord server together. They're very different people. They run a Discord server together and I mix them up sometimes. But one of them two sent it to me, and it was really helpful. Little's last week of school has been ended here and it's been wild. That does sound really wild, oh my god. Let's see. But Panda, I don't know if I told you about this, but basically like the week after I got back from Adepticon, I got surgery scheduled for June, so I don't know if you've been following my post or whatever, but I am in the final stretch before that, and so I am trying to just like get my life together, so it's a little hectic here as well, but all for good reasons. Gecko Gill, wait, you can wipe the paint away. Absolutely you can wipe the paint away. Absolutely you can wipe the paint away. In fact, it's I very much recommend it. Hope it all goes well. Thank you, Panda. I do too. I'm doing the last few things to get myself ready for it and get work ready for it and stuff, and so it's just a big final push, but mini painting is becoming the thing that's keeping me sane through it all. And hey, look at that mud. That's looking much muddier. It's like dried on the top now. That's great. See, that's what I'm going for. But yeah, Gecko Guild. Yeah, wiping away paint, taking it out of the brush tip is actually what you're going for with dry brushing. I feel like my paint just smudges. Yeah, so I'm using paper towel because it's what I have right here. Cardboard works really well too. You can experiment with it. And then there's like dry brushing palettes. I don't know how those wick away the moisture, or they just have enough ridges, but yeah, wicking away the moisture so that the brush gets, you know, dry. Where the hell is my camera? So the brush gets dry. See, it's completely dry. That's why it's called dry brushing. So yeah, you definitely want to be wicking moisture away somehow. Paper towels work, cardboard works. Dry brushing palettes potentially work. Do I use my finger to wipe paint off the mini? I do that sometimes if I'm feeling real lazy. But I don't know that finger painting is like a technique I'd recommend as like something in your normal repertoire. Maybe if you get an interesting effect out of it. No, ideally what you want to do with dry brushing. Do I have a test mini? I have a test mini. This is going to get primed over. Oh, I almost put that in the drink. That's not what you want. Here's a test mini. I'm going to paint over all this again, so let's just show this really quick. There's a color. All right, so I've got this bright blue, and I am going to... Dry brush palettes work a lot like a paper towel. It also lets you see how it's going to look on the model. See, that's some very good point there, Panda. I hadn't really considered that. Yeah, because it actually has texture, you're going to see how your brushing is going to respond, you know, how it's going to pick up those highlights and stuff. I need a little bit of water. So I got some paint trapped in the brush. All right, let's try this again. Perfect. All right, so I've got some light blue here, and I'm gonna go for a really light dry brush. I've wiped a lot out here. Sorry, you should be able to see this. So I'm just wiping it out until I'm barely seeing any come off. And then... Oh. See, I thought I could cheat. I thought I could get away with this. I thought I could get away with getting the brush a little wet to clean it. That was a mistake. Okay. Alright, see, so what I'm doing is I'm just barely pressing down. I have very little paint in my brush. It's kind of streaking because I got my brush a little bit too wet by mistake. Because I was trying to just wipe paint off it with like a little bit of dampness and I overshot it. That was probably silly of me. But anyway, you'll see what I'm doing here is I'm just going from top down. I always want to go in the direction that the light is coming down. And you end up with... Here, that's a good example of it. So you end up... Oh, I'm already zoomed in. You end up... See how there's like a nice highlight along the top here? And like the bottom of this eye and the bottom of this eye and even around the edges? It just gives you a very quick and dirty, like, overall highlight. See, there's a nice blended highlight on top of this now. There was already some highlight work under there. Let's do this power claw really quick. That should be a good, clean example. Did I actually... I'm going pretty light. You can definitely take multiple passes. No, you can see it. See, there's now there's some white, there's a light blue getting deposited on all these hard edges here. So that's really what you're going for with dry brushing. See, I've got this so dry that it's like a really subtle effect, and you can just keep doing this and layering it up to get a really nice, even gradient that way. But yeah, that's the important thing. You want to be able to get it really dry so you get a lot of control, and you want to always go in the direction of the light. So if you're painting a vertical surface, you're always going down, down, down. You're never going up. Because if you go up, all of a sudden you're going to have highlights on the bottom of everything, and that's going to look super weird. So if you do those two things, just play with it. I'm telling you, you're gonna have a good time. That's all I learned about dry brushing, and that's taking me far, let me tell you. Let's see. I wasn't talking about dry brushing. I was asking if you can remove wet paint because I made mistakes. Oh, you know, I've started doing it because I saw someone do it in a video, and yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of. It depends on the level of painting you're trying to get to. I have started doing it. I have started doing it on like my, you know, tabletop pieces, and it does kind of work. You can also use a damp brush or just a wet brush to try and remove the paint, or honestly, just paint over things. Don't worry about getting all your mistakes, every single layer. The ideal way you're going to be painting, especially as you get better at it, is that you'll be doing enough layers and enough different steps over top of each other that, for example, if I paint too much green here and I get it onto this shirt, then when I'm coming through to paint the shirt, I'll take care of that. And when I'm painting the highlights on top, if it's not perfect, then the highlight layer will sort of correct those things. Hey, Bomb Kangaroo, how are you in chat? I'm tired today, but the mini painting is bringing me joy, and so I'm feeling better now that I'm actually here and talking to people. Thank you all so much for showing up. It's honestly really nice having this outlet, and it's, oh my gosh, it's just cool that people come here to hang out. It means a lot. I'm a little sentimental today. I had a long day. But how are you doing, Bomb Kangaroo? I assume you're staying up a little bit late, but hopefully you can stick with us for a while. I'm just playing Tamagotchi Life, living the dream. Yeah, I totally missed that one came out. I'm much less of a video game person now, although it does look fun. I think I watched like an embarrassing amount of the Vinesauce Let's Play of the original. At one point when I was in college, I just stumbled across the playlist and I was like, oh god, you know, what was the freaking, there's just like a whole love triangle in that one. I don't even remember who was involved. But anyway, I got it the day it came out. Well, how are you enjoying it? What's the weirdest thing that's happened so far in your Tamagotchi Life Island? I do a lot of contrast paints that's removed easier. I don't recommend you start with it as it's very different, but it's fun and simple once you know the ins and outs. So sorry, Bumpkin Drew, I'm trying to follow you. So you're saying that like you can smudge contrast paints with your fingers, or you're saying you're dry brush with contrast paints? Because I've never heard of dry brushing with contrast paints. That's wild, and you gotta tell me how to do that. That's incredible. The temp is too high on Earth. God, so true, bestie. Depressing to think about, really. But yeah, we've got the air conditioners in this weekend, and I feel like I'm so close to having my air conditioning fixed in my car, but I gotta try another new part, so like, oof. I'm really hoping I got it this time. The thing that I think is broken that's preventing me from recharging my air conditioner would also explain why it stopped working in the first place. And now I feel a little silly for replacing all the other parts, but this is what you get for being a parts changer and not testing things. It's me being stubborn and, you know, not really doing things the proper way. That's how I got in this situation where I'm just throwing money at an issue. Anyway, test things, don't be a parts changer. Do it as I say, not as I do. Yeah, I am good too. Slight joint pain today, but it's all good. Warhammer Skulls is happening in 2 days. Yeah, hey, what is that? I've seen them advertising it. It seems to be like a festival that Games Workshop is putting on to celebrate their own video games that they publish. And I don't... What happens during that? I've never heard of this before. I've actually been playing Space Marine 2 a little bit. So maybe I have an interest. I've been playing Space Marine 2 a little bit when I've been trying to force myself to rest so that I don't keep working on my car. And let me tell y'all, I'm not much of a video gamer anymore. Oh, it's video game announcements? Okay, cool. Maybe they'll announce some cool new games. Maybe something orky. Let's see. Wait, chatter asking about removing wet paint. Yeah, dry brushing contrast isn't really a thing. I wouldn't think so either. Okay, that's cool. But yeah, I've been playing Space Marine 2 a little bit. If I was like Amethyst, I gotta get Amethyst to teach me how to make clips out of my streams, because she's always freaking doing that. That woman's short game is admirable. Amethyst, if you're here, teach me your ways, and if you're not, I understand it. I understand. Anyway, I was just thinking about that. But no, yeah, I've been playing Space Marine 2. I'm not much of a video gamer. Holy crap, that is actually a difficult game. I did not realize. I thought it was going to be like a casual beer and pretzels kind of game. It's kicking my ass. It's tricky. Like, I find if I don't come into situations with the proper strategy, and if I don't target prioritize properly, and like, I don't do my nice combos with the melee, I just get stomped. The amount of situational awareness and like mechanical skill I find I have to have in that game to just not get destroyed by nids is way more than I was expecting. So I play like one mission every once in a while, and I'm like sweating at the end of it. It's like my heart rate gets up. So I don't know how relaxing it is, but it's fun to play a video game that's challenging me a little bit. There's probably a lot of pro gamers in the audience who are laughing at me. I've sort of become a Stardew Valley and Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing and Pokemon type of person. There's a bunch of us playing Diablo 4. Santa, don't get me into another thing. I have too many expensive and time-consuming hobbies. But sell me on Diablo 4, please. Thanks. Who's a bunch of us, by the way? Focus. Focus, please. There we go. Yeah, personally for me, the parry weapons help me in Space Marine 2. Oh, the parries are great. I forget to do them. What was I gonna grab? I made this one a little too bright. Maybe that's fine. You know what, I'll wash these. I'll wash them at the end and that'll be fine. Chuck, Jay, Duel, Nim, me, and my hubs. Okay, that's a lot of Diablo 4 happening. Perhaps this is what I can do as I'm laying in bed and on my couch recovering in July. Maybe. I have enough expensive time-consuming hobbies, but perhaps. Oh shoot, you answered my question. I'm sorry, Gecko. Thank you for pointing that out. Let's see. So 95 hours, the weirdest thing is two me's both having a crush but not confessing. Also, she's enjoying Yowie and the Arby's Meat Mountain. Okay, yeah, that's pretty wild. The two me's having a crush and not confessing, I don't think that's too weird, Gecko. I've seen that a lot in my days. That's just a thing that happens. Especially when you know a lot of sapphic women, like I do. Mom Kangaroo says Diablo is outside my expertise. It's certainly outside of mine. I had never even played it. Mark Payne's Minis, I barely made it through Space Marine 2 and gave the first game a try. It's good in terms of story, but there's no health regeneration unless you do one of the killing blow style attacks. I gave up halfway through as I just died over and over. Yeah, that would be difficult for sure. I found that, yeah, using the finishers to regain armor was super helpful. I was surprised by how many things I came out of the tutorial not knowing. And I don't know if it's just because I plow through text boxes without reading them because I'm stubborn, or if it just genuinely didn't teach me that mechanic. But like, Samus Girl had to point that out to me. She was like, oh, when you do these attacks, you get shield back. And I was like, what? You're telling me I could have been doing that the entire time? It's like Doot Newton in here? The other problem with playing Space Marine for me is that my preferred playstyle is very Raven Guard. I like to have the carbine bolt rifle that has like the super precision shots, because then I can take out the Tyranid warriors before they get to me and cause problems, and then the combat knife so that when I do get into melee, I can parry really fast and be responsive and not get bogged down swinging and get hit by something. But that's like, you run out of ammo all the time, and I'm not very effective in melee when I get into it, and so I've just been doing Bolter Power Sword ever since, just because it seems to be more effective, even though I like it less. I don't know. Knife is a good melee, it's so fast, and speed is really great. I I'm more into 3 to 4 weirdos fight millions of fantasy buds like Warhammer, Darktide, Space Marine, Deep Rock, Aliens, and Left 4 Dead and such. Okay. I have a fur and line of AAA games. It needs to give me $1 an hour worth of content to be worth it. Fair enough. I need to make a cigarette as a food item for my meats. Oh, why'd that guy have to get canceled? He has such a good eating cigarettes joke. Anyway, well, you know what I'm talking about. Shout out. Saw him live. He stole an entire Bo Burnham set. Actually. Not naming names. If you know, you know. Just thought that was interesting. A YouTube comedian started getting popular, did a stand-up show. A lot of stolen Bo Burnham content. Anyway. T, I don't need to say. Anywho. I'm not a gossip channel. Ooh, this is looking pretty good though. Look at that. Look how nice these bases are looking now. All I had to do was dry brush them a little bit. Now I have to remember what a cigarette looks like. Gecko Dill, it does me good to know that our generation, or I think you might be one below me, it's good to know, it was not Dane Cook. It's good to know that that we are not familiar with cigarettes. I think the world's healing a little bit. Let's see. The fencing version has the easiest parry, as far as I know. Okay. This orc has a massive, and it has an insane back arch. Oh yeah. Yeah, look at this posture. Excuse me. Oh gosh. I've been hitting too many of the San Pellegrinos. Sponsor me. If this is a sponsorship, I will accept. I love these things. It's the taste of a new generation. Anyway, yeah, so these are old boys. If you're not familiar with them, take a good long look. They're going away soon. So this is the Orc Boy kit from, I want to say 2008, but I've been told that is actually not accurate. It's even older than that. This is like late 90s actually, and the only thing that changed when they updated it later was that they added an upgrade sprue, excuse me, that allowed you to build like an extra character out of it. But yeah, they've got this insane posture, and they're normally supposed to be standing like this. I modeled a few of them lurching forward because I feel like it makes them look more dynamic. And yeah, they've also got these giant barrel butts, and they have gorilla proportions. And that's how those orcs is. That's how orc boys are. Even these guys are built off of orc boys. They're the same model, but even like these ludas, look, they have much better posture. This orc is older than me. It might nearly be older than me. But yeah, this kit, I think this one might legitimately be from 5th edition around 2008 or so, because a lot of my orcs are older. But anyway, yeah, I think the what's the launch box that all the there's a name for a launch box that came out that all of like the knobs and the old war boss and the old boys came out. I think it was Blackreach. I think it was Blackreach was the box. I think these guys aren't technically Blackreach orcs, but they're basically the exact same sculpt. I do have Blackreach orcs. Hold on. I'm pretty sure that these guys are actually from the Blackreach starter box because of the army I got them with. So like these are legitimately like Blackreach starter box orcs. They're, you know, the same thing. You can see the same body, same crazy posture. These ones were painted by someone else. The blood effect's nice. These ones were, yeah, those were painted by whoever I bought them from. They were nice. Let's see. Hello, Guardian. I don't think I said hi before. I was talking Space Marine too. I was talking about getting to play it a little bit. It's confirmed that I would be a Raven Guard player if I painted Space Marines. But also that playing that tactically doesn't really work when there's nids rushing at you. Flamers, great, fantastic. Oh man, I love the Melta weapons, so fun. Just love dealing a lot of damage, or a lot of damage up close, or a lot of damage very far away. I do not like mid-range. insanely good game that beat it multiple times. I am going to struggle to beat it even once. It is harder than I thought it was going to be. I'm still playing it. I don't know that it's my cup of tea necessarily. Like, I don't normally play games that are this, like, skill intensive. Not anymore at least, but, you know, I've been enjoying it. I just do it every once in a while. Did Orks, Chaos Marines, or White Stars do the top knot first? That's a great question. That's a great question. I would encourage you to look that up. Please look that up and report back to the class. I'd love to know. Alright, Panda's talking about Diablo 4 again. $70 for the full game. Both expansions, I can tell you have $100 in the game. It's been great for high-paying days when I just need to occupy my brain. That sounds pretty rad. You're definitely getting your money's worth. I gotta think carefully about that, for sure. But I do appreciate the offer regardless. Alright. What were we about to do? Oh, we're looking at the bases. The bases look nice. Let's edge highlight some things. Let's stop having fun and start edge highlighting. Joke. People talk such crap on edge highlighting. I don't know why I like all the torturous paint techniques. I just do. I can't explain it. Alright, so we got some blue here, which I'm going to... So let's experiment a little bit. So my recent development, I'm people. Yeah, my recent development is realizing that I'm actually I'm actually like a lot of the paint techniques that a lot of people famously dislike. Like edge highlighting. I already know I like freehanding. The main colors I paint are black. I mainly paint black. I'm interested in also painting white, yellow, and red. Name the 4 hardest things to paint on a miniature. Black, white, yellow, red, pretty sure. Last I checked. Maybe orange is in there. But yeah, all the things that interest me are things that are really hard to do, and it's not because I'm achievement focused, it's just because that's what I think looks cool. And recently I've discovered, you know what, damn it, I think heavy metal orcs look really cool, but I want to try and learn some techniques. So this is what I've been doing recently. So what I was trying to do here is just like a blue glaze around the edge here as like the first highlight, which... This is a thing I'm trying to add. I've seen this done on some heavy metal models, and it looks really nice. It's like a really chunky highlight here. And I've never quite pulled this off to my satisfaction before. If anyone in the chat knows how to do the technique I'm attempting, please let me know. I like doing edge highlighting on Gundam assembled and Gundam artifact models. Interesting. I find it really helps with orc models just because they're already kind of cartoony, and edge highlighting is a very cartoony way of doing it. I like it if the overall style is like cel-shaded or comic, absolutely, but if it isn't, it takes me out of the mini world, if you know what I mean. Oh, I absolutely get that. I don't know if I'd love to do this for every type of mini. For orcs, it just feels right. Alright, we've got... That is almost imperceptible. That's maybe a little too large. Oh wow. Just expand the dark zone in the middle there. Okay, so the edge highlights now are... The first glaze layer is maybe a little less chunky now. Sorry, Nico, I wasn't calling you by exhaling there. Why am I doing this without a paint handle? Why am I doing this without a paint handle? Let's be reasonable. So the cigarette looks like a chocolate-filled breadstick. I assume you drew this yourself? Or Tamagotchi? Sounds good. Sounds like a funny joke. I believe when I was playing, yeah, this is true. When I was playing New Horizon, I had Bo as one of my very early villagers, and I've kept him this whole time. And he's kind of like a deer, and I think he's lazy type villager, so he says a lot of weird, funny stuff. But he asked me for a catchphrase, and I think I made it asterisk hits blunt asterisk. So every once in a while we'll be talking, and he'll just take a rip, and it's really gotten me a couple times because I forget about it and then it happens. And I wish I could remember what the line was, dude. But anyway, I approve of these type of jokes. They're tried and true in my household. Alright, there's a very basic highlight. Let's go higher and higher. Yeah, I'm using in-game art tools. Okay. Least favorite painting tutorial moments on YouTube were, hey, now we have a beautiful Grimdark realistic mini. I'm gonna add 5 billion highlights to change the vibe entirely. Ooh. Yeah. Honestly, I think this might only be an orc technique for me. I've tried painting orcs so many other ways, and I just find they look muddy, and honestly, one of the things that really got me into orcs, one of the things that got me interested, I was talking about this in a Discord with my friends earlier, was Death Squadron, which is a series of comics that were published, I think, in Inferno? Never read it, but then they compiled them into a thing, and then that got put online somewhere, and so you can actually read it, but it's basically a comic about a bunch of orc pilots who have like a goth war band, but they all ride in planes, and they're called Death Squadron, SKWARDRON, ADRON, sorry. And anyway, so yeah, SKW instead of SQU. Funny orc joke. But I just thought it was really cool, and it was a very cool, black and white comic book style. And so that sort of comic book looking orc style is really what attracted me to them as an army. And so, like, I don't know, I just kind of find it lacking when they don't have that. This is definitely not bright enough for what I'm trying to do. Well, let's try some frost blue here just for the hell of it. Okay, that does look pretty cool. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Maybe I actually have to clean this though. Sorry for being the negative Nancy. Oh no, it's absolutely okay. I understand why people dislike these paint techniques. Actually, I don't understand why I like them, is the thing. But one of my favorite things to do with orcs is actually freehanding checkerboards, and I'm looking forward to doing some of that later today. And again, I don't know why I'm like this. But I really only say this just to encourage people to, like, just try stuff out. Just try out techniques, even if they seem intimidating. I've always, I don't know, I've never been one to worry about what is or is not a beginner-friendly technique, and I've found that when I'm pushing myself and trying to do things that are supposed to be above my skill level, I actually grow a lot, and I really like it. I really enjoy the results. I'm actually trying to do more of that recently because I sort of lowered my standards and I stopped being so ambitious with my paint jobs, and I just don't like how they look anymore. And so that's why I'm coming back and trying to make everything look a little bit nicer. And I just feel like the results are really inspiring me to keep painting. And look at that. That's nicely highlighted. Not ready for the cabinet in Milwaukee by any means, but you know. Damn good for tabletop. Alright, let's get like a little bit of pure white in here. Or I'm just actually gonna mix in some pure white into this like ice blue. Frost blue. Right now we'll do our little corner highlights. Yeah, right there. Oop, that's thick. Hey, Gecko Gill, you catch that? I just did the thing we were talking about. It does work. It does get that paint off there. Cool. Yeah, just some little corner highlights to make different parts of it more reflective or less. Honestly, that just looks sick. That looks so nice. Let's do a checkerboard. Let's have some fun. Sammy, your dreamed hydrate? Alright, I'm gonna do it with the sparkling water though. If I'd ever get into Orks, I'd do them super grungy like Lord of the Rings. Not that I dislike fun, silly Orks, it's just more my vibe. Absolutely. Can I recommend Cruel Boys for that? If you have your choice of models. But no, Orks look great in a lot of different ways. This is just how I like them. Checkerboards are cool, I think, actually. It's true, they are very cool. I'm glad you agree. I want to try not making the checkerboards pure whites. I'd like to make them gray. But it's a question of how gray to make them. I think Stonewall gray would be pretty dark. Let's start there. I have an idea. We do a 40k tournament at Olive Garden. That's... Now I'm thinking about the Denny's Grand Slam. If you all have never heard about the Denny's Grand Slam, you may have seen a clip of a metalcore concert happening in a Denny's, where the front man goes, "What's up? What's up? What the fuck's up, Denny's?" And then they hit a breakdown, and it's the best thing ever. So, sort of like that, I guess. But someone yelling, "Wah!" Getting unlimited, unlimited Gretchen? That would be fucked up. No, you'd win. You'd win with that. What would be unlimited about... Okay, we can't do unlimited breadsticks. Maybe we can, actually. Maybe we can do unlimited breadsticks, actually. I was going to ask what Warhammer thing should be unlimited, like unlimited breadsticks. If we were to do a Warhammer tournament at a unnamed Italian establishment that hasn't paid to be sponsored here, and so we won't mention them. Unlimited cigarette breadsticks. Gecko, no! We can't. Oh, this gray paint's getting a little old. Okay, that's a pretty small initial checkerboard. Being honest, a little small. Let me see if I can do this with the big brush, by the way. That was wet. I got paint water in my mouth. Thought it was dry. Okay. Let's go for even thirds here. This rule of odds dictates that you want an odd number of things. It looks more visually pleasing. Okay, yeah, I haven't done this in a while, but that looks like a nice 3 grid. Ha! Unlimited cigarette butts. It's already read that. I was so mad that it was $66 for just me. How? You must have eaten a lot, Sammy. That's a lot of money for a Denny. Wowza. In the 90s, Ultramarines were covered in checkerboards. I think that's why Orks have them, is because they thought they saw Umis with them and they thought that was cool. And they think blood axes suck. Ironic. At least it wasn't like when I got 7.4 million views saying God told me to get arrested at Applebee's while I was in front of it. You have a way with viral content, Sammy. I don't fully understand. But I support you. Would you consider the taste of a cigarette to be spicy? I don't know what they taste like. I don't care to find out. Because you know what? I don't want to know if I have a nicotine addiction. If I'm like genetically hardwired to have a nicotine addiction, I don't ever want to find that out, because you know why? Then I'll be addicted to nicotine. And I don't need that heat. I don't need that in my life. That's how I think about it. What, awesome? Checkerboards rule. Yeah, I agree. Checkerboards awesome. Should I eat a cigarette? Absolutely not. Don't do that. No, that's poisonous. You do not eat those. All I know is when I walk past a smoker, there's a 60% chance I'll have a horrible headache for the day. Well, that is unfortunate. Okay, the paint is flowing better. Can we zoom any more than this? Okay, apparently not. I think 4 orcs is the perfect sample size for doing this type of work. Because if I was doing a full 10, you'd just be watching me paint checkerboards back and forth for hours. That sounds like more of a Saturday activity. Although, I have a sneaking feeling, and you guys can tell me if this is true, chat, that y'all aren't necessarily watching to watch me paint. It's more of a vibes thing. Am I correct in that, or is there someone following me every brushstroke just completely captivated by this? I'd love to know. Love that feedback from you guys. Like, I've obviously put a lot of work into making the painting look nice. And I've got this fancy camera. But I don't know that it actually matters. Let's see. Got to the point where I hold my breath. At least that works for you. Still inconvenient. I'm following the checkerboards every stroke. Okay. Damn. Well, thank you, Vom Kangaroo. I think you might count as like a super fan because you're here all the time and you stay up late to watch me, which I very much appreciate. I'm glad you enjoy the checkerboarding. I haven't done one of these in a while, so I'm a little bit less proficient with it than I used to be. I like watching the painting and then playing games and then watching. Ah, okay, I'm second screen. That's good. That makes sense. I figured as much. Okay. So, like, I'm just thinking, look at this. So this is what I'm hand painting. And then this is like what I got with the stamping tool. And honestly, from a distance, there ain't too much of a difference. I just know when I look close up that I like the hand-drawn effect of this. I like the control. I think I like checkerboards enough that those might not be a thing I stamp, personally. But I am excited to stamp the other heraldry. Oh, and I got better with the stamping tool, y'all. I figured it out. So I'm looking forward to using that for heraldry. I do not think I will be using it very much for checkerboarding, unless I'm going to do like a huge patch. Okay, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Ooh, I have one of those rubbery stampers. Can you show us? Yeah, I can, let's pull that out and give it a shot. But yeah, damn, that's, God, this is satisfying. Look how cool he looks now. Look how cool he looks. Yo, I love checkerboards so much. Look how cool this one looks now. I haven't even done the gun or the slugga or the choppa, but look at this shoulder pad. It's a Proppa get. I haven't even done the second coat. I haven't done the highlight. Ah, this guy looks like he listens to ska. I love it. Hey. I watch as it's a way to get me to paint my body doubling, I guess. Hey, that's cool. I do a lot of body doubling. You gotta head out. I made sure to post the cigarette in the Discord. Thanks, Gecko. Appreciate that. I'll take a look at it later. All right. Someone... I'm too far away to be talking. Someone wanted to see some stampin' action. Now, I've already determined that I don't love the checkerboards. I like doing those manually. Maybe we do some heraldry? What are we thinking would be cool? I think this guy's arm needs a cool little symbol on it. I think because it used to be a Space Marine. Ooh, this used to be a Space Marine shoulder. Maybe I should put a pauldron on him? That would be kind of funny. You only ever seen the ads. Yeah, I got an in-person demonstration at Adepticon, which was pretty cool. Let's zoom out and make some space. I'm very tempted to give this guy a Space Marine pauldron. I do have some in the bits box, but they're not going to be primed. So this might be a longer diversion than I had planned for. Smells like resin. Man, these pauldrons are huge. Look how big that would be. That's a bit unorky. That's a bit unorky. Look how smooth that is. That's screwed up. I can't put that on a boy. Cool Death Guard pauldron, perhaps? Zoom, please. Kind of. Ah, this one's already got a thing on it. Hold on. All right, I've decided this guy needs a little bit of a pauldron to cover this. So we are actually going to he does just look better with this on, doesn't he? No, they're boys. They don't all need special bits. This is special enough. Let's just put a symbol on it. Now what's gonna fit? Apologies, I was really off on a tangent there for a second, y'all. That's Feral 1. Let's see what Feral 2 has to offer. Feral 2 is more about, like... Feral 2 is a little more fantasy-coded. It's like a little bit. It's got some nice... Ooh, I like these checkers. I don't know, y'all, what looks good? Maybe just a little skull would be fun. I'll check these out, then I gotta go. Okay, hold on. We'll do a little skull. Alright, I gotta pull the thing off this. Ooh, a satisfying peel. Whoop. So, yes, the stampers are super squishy. They're silicone. Let's zoom out, make this happen. Oh, someone subscribed. Not sure when that happened, but thank you. Whoever that was. Let's see. So we got him loaded up. I've got this. I've got my scraper. I've got this ready to go, because everything kind of has to go fast. So we're going to pick up this little skull. Gonna load that up. Real good. Now the next part of this is going to happen pretty fast. We're gonna scrape. Now we're on the clock. Nice light roll. Got the pattern. Sight it. There. Got him. I did it. Holy crap. It's a little scary with the time pressure, but yeah, look at that. Now he's got a skull. Oh no, an ad. I'm so sorry, Bomb Kangaroo. There was an ad on top of the ad. You missed it. Someone clip this. I'm not on my own stream. Can someone clip this for Bomb Kangaroo, please? I would appreciate you so much. How long do you get to apply it? Like 10 seconds. Like, you get apparently about 10 seconds from the time you scrape until it's completely dried. That's what Brent said in the booth. But yeah, I like that. I like this little skull. That's very fun. You missed all of it? Hold on. Alright, we gotta get another one of these ready for Bomb Kangaroo. Royally messed that up with the ad break. I forgot that was coming. Wasn't really paying attention. Okay, what else can we stamp? Let's get ready. Ooh, this guy's got a nice back panel. Excuse me? What's about the right size? I don't know. What do we think this guy's favorite number is? None of these look quite right. Maybe we'll put this little 3 on there, and that's kind of fun. Why not? Oh, I could almost fit a Goth symbol in Orc Skull. Let's go for the Orc Skull. That'll be a little more precise. Not your fault, comedic perfection, though. I'm so sorry. All right, you're almost back. You're almost back. I appreciate everyone who stuck around through the ads there. Hey, welcome back from the ads, Twitch. Sorry about that. Appreciate everyone who stuck around. It really does help the stream. Quite a few people left, though. I hate that I run ads. I would like to not, But apparently pre-rolls are even worse. Alright, so Bomb Kangaroo, here we go. I'm going to plop this on. I'm gonna get everything ready, because as soon as I scrape this is when I'm on the clock. Okay, so I'm on the clock. Just gonna gently roll to pick this up, and I messed it up. Gently roll to pick it up, and no, that didn't work. Okay. Hold on. 1 second. Cleanliness is very important for all this. So let me just quickly dab the pad with some alcohol to get that clean. We're gonna take some... Going to take some acetone. Clean this up. I want to get the non-acetone based nail polish remover, but I wasn't able to find it when I was at Target. It just straight up didn't happen. So I'm gonna try that at some point, but for now, acetone. All right, let's try that again. Not really sure what happened that time. I might have used too much pressure trying to pick it up. That's apparently a big issue that can happen. All right, so my stamper's clean, my palette's clean. Let's just try again. Let's go for that nice 3 that I wanted. Okay. There it is. See, I've got a nice little 3 there. I do have time to maybe pull off the rest of that just to be safe. And then you can look actually down this to sight things up, which is cool. And I'm actually not going to stamp this because I remembered I don't want it to be a 3, I want it to be an Ork skull. So, great demonstration. Apparently you just used a little bit of Scotch tape. That'll take it right off. Zoom, focus please. Focus please. Hello? Thank you. Paid money for that. There it is. See, so now it just comes off. So the color has to be polish. Yeah, it's specifically stamping polish. I would love to have an alternative, like a very thick paint or something. But yes, this is a technique taken from the beauty industry. And so it's meant to be nail polish. So they sell a specific type of stamping. They sell their own brand. But any sort of stamping polish should work. All right, there we go. Got a nice little skull. I'm gonna quickly clean up the excess, and we gotta go. Nice. See, because I was able to sight that, I was able to get it pretty well lined up here. Although the bottom is a little bit separated. So that needs an extra second to futz around. He looks happy. Yeah, there you go. Little skull on there. It got separated, unfortunately, because of the paint drying, so he's a little bit happier than he's supposed to be. But, you know, there we go. That's a pretty good demonstration. But yeah, that's how it works, essentially. I let that dry a little bit too much because I was futzing with it up here, but it still works. And now that's dried down really solid. The only downside to this, which I haven't found a way to work around yet, is that it's pretty much permanent. There's not really a way to get this back off. I'm hoping I might find a solution at some point, but, you know, it's pretty much permanent, and you have to paint over anything, and it does add some thickness, so this is really like a speed painting, army painting technique. It's not necessarily something you're going to want to use on, like, a mini where you have no tape backs, like Golden Demon Piece, maybe not. But it's very cool. All right, have a good night, Bomb Kangaroo. Dark over on YouTube, Dubertown Stamp Pad. Yes, absolutely. I bought it from, actually, it's Goblin Hobbies, so it's a combination of Dubertown and Casey from eBay Miniature Rescues and maybe some other folks, I'm not sure, but those are the main two. But yes, it is fantastic. But yeah, it's actually under Goblin Hobbies now if you want to go get one. The people who make this are super cool, and they convinced me to buy all sorts of stamping stuff when I was at Adepticon. But yeah, you know, it's maybe not what I'm using for my checkerboards. I did those by hand, but this is pretty cool that I can do this little skull here or this skull here. I like the heraldry. I think that's fun. So I'm going to keep playing with this. Let's see. It's funny how many beauty products and techniques are super useful in the hobby. I used nail art beads to modify some of my space marines to have studded pauldrons recently. Ooh. I think those nail art beads might be what people use to make miniature rivets as well. We'd have to add studs in studio. I think that I'm hearing a noise in the background and it's just my air conditioner turning off. I thought it was the door opening. Actually, I need to go see what that noise is. Hold on a second, y'all. Let's take a quick break. Okay, it's all good. So apparently, my flipped your first goal. Well, thank you. So apparently, when it's raining, and it's raining really hard out, and I did not realize that. So when it rains, I guess my air conditioner makes a weird sound. From the fan blades getting hit by the rain, it sounds like it sounds like the door opening. It's freaking me out. Anyway, all taken care of. So we've got some stamping happening. We got the skull that's clipped, hell yeah. And we've got some checkerboards that I'm gonna just keep refining here. I really am enjoying these checkerboards. So let's keep it going. That's it for that drink. Reload time. Okay, let's put stamping away. There's my palette. I'm gonna get the fresh paper towel. I don't want to accidentally dip into acetone. Seems like a bad time. Are we all the way in? Yep. Alright, so let's go through and try to solidify this gray color. And then I'll come through and try to do highlights. This will also be a new thing. I don't think I've ever highlighted my checkers before. Although when I've done more of like a gradient with my checkerboards, they look really nice. So I don't know why I'm trying to justify this. Of course, putting highlights on things is going to make them look nicer. Duh. Whoa! Anonymous user gifted a tier 1 to Bomb Kangaroo. Well, thank you so much. I think Bomb Kangaroo already went to bed, but thank you so much for the gifting that sub. Gosh, an anonymous gifter. Interesting. Well, thank you, whoever that was. That is much appreciated. I'm sure they will be very happy to see that tomorrow. Bomb Kangaroo is, I believe, Austrian? So, not easy to be up at this hour. No chance of getting caught in another ad break that way, though. That's very thoughtful. Cool. Alrighty, so that's a decent foundation. We'll clean up a little bit. So this particular gray, I think might be getting a little old and a little dry. I've had this bottle for quite a few years now, and it's just not super fun to apply anymore. So I might need to fix this up. Oh, hello, Baxel Fix. This emote is wild. But hello, how you doing? Why do I not recognize you? Oh, it's been a couple months. Oh, whoa, Mark Paints Minis, holy heck. Mark Paints Minis, thank you so much. Is this because I had the goal on the screen? Is that what's happening now? Oh my god, we're on a hype train. Thank you so much. This has not happened in a while. Thank you so much for the gift subs there, Mark. That's basically going to be everyone in chat because there's like not a ton of Twitch viewers watching right now. I think there's like an 8 p.m. cutoff where everyone gets sleepy, and I understand. I get it. I think it's the Europeans going to bed. Whoa. Oh, I also have a twerking Miles Edgeworth. It honestly was. Oh no, it honestly was what? Oh no. I already forgot what I said. What did I say earlier in that last sentence? I appreciate it. Thank you. It has been a little while since I've had a hype train going. This is super nice. Michael Paints Minis is here. Hold on. Michael and Mark are both painting minis in my chat. Michael, hold on. I got the thing. Thank you for the thing. Whoa. Thank you for sharing 100 bits, by the way. I got the set. I have been playing with it a little bit. Unfortunately, I have a lot of the colors that are already in here, but I am trying to sprinkle it in. But what I will say is that I really liked these for the airbrush. So here we go. I've been painting this box of terrain, and as you can see here, I painted everything green from the top. Like this entire box, I did a green zenithal to give it some mood and some, tone. So that was all this little bottle of Lizardman green, which is like half full now. But yeah, this was a breeze. I really enjoyed this through the airbrush, so props to you guys on that because like I barely had to thin it and it was super forgiving with my thinner. So I was able to just blow through an entire box of terrain, and normally the actual hobby paint would give me a total headache trying to do that, and I just, yeah, they work great with airbrushes. I totally noticed the same thing. So I'm gonna keep using these on airbrushes probably, and I don't know when. I'm gonna try and mix some of these in, but I have been enjoying them, so thank you so much. What's the paint brand name? Okay, we'll do a little bit of promotion here. These are the Reaper Master Series paints 2.0. This is the preview set. Michael Paints Minis works for Reaper and was able to send me this to play around with, so I haven't given any feedback yet, but I wanted to say the thing you guys said about the airbrushes was true. That was actually really nice. So yeah, we'll give a little shout there. But yeah, I definitely want to experiment with these more. I've been experimenting with a lot of paint techniques recently, not necessarily paint brands, but it is nice to have so many new colors. I'm actually experimenting a lot with underpainting recently, and so those would honestly be great for that, because you've got a lot of very fun colors in this set here, like this Runic Glow. Ooh, you know what? I should actually use Runic Glow here to underpaint yellow. That's what I should try doing. Because I want to play with my yellow a little bit, so I might try this one for underpainting yellow. Just give it a shot. Not sponsored, but it was a free sample, so, you know. Take that for what you will. Yes, that'll be a fun thing to do, absolutely. But yeah, Michael, it's been a little while. Let's see. Why is my throat attacking me? Hold on. Is it because I don't hydrate? So sorry. Wow, throat feels really bad all of a sudden. Oh, it's like I swallowed a bug. I don't know. Okay, so anyway. Yeah, recently I've just been really messing with my orc painting techniques, and I've been trying to improve and just make everything look nicer. That's the little series I'm doing right now on stream. Making my orcs look less bad. Less sad. Let's see. With Baxel Fix, I just decided to restart building a new orc army in prep for 11th. Restart? Did you throw the old ones out? I could have taken them. What do you mean restart? But yeah, I'm doing a bit of a soft restart. I'm taking a lot of orcs that I speed painted just to get them on the table. Ooh. Level 2 hype. Thank you so much for the level 2 hype train, y'all. And now y'all get this emote, I guess. So thanks for that. Enjoy Mega Consume. How do they come up with these? That's a good one. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, but please, Baxel, tell me what you mean by restarting. Oh god, everyone left. I'm sorry for coughing. It happens. I'm working on it. Choo-choo. I gotta stop coughing on camera. My view count cuts in half every time I do it, I swear to God. I feel so bad when it happens. I'm sorry. I gotta be better about that. I've been doing whatever this emote is. I've been mega consuming and it's hurting my throat. So, fun personal fact about me, I'm actually working with the speech pathologist because I'm tired of wearing out my voice. So, maybe this problem will be going away. Who knows? Your count is probably because the stream did a hiccup. Oh, okay. I thought it's because I did a hiccup. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't be watching my viewer count so closely, but it's not the best feedback, but it is actually still some amount of feedback for me to understand if I'm getting people or not. Yeah, I literally had a coughing fit and I looked up and I had half as many viewers and I was like, oh no. Well, I appreciate that, Michael. Or maybe it's because I started shouting out a paint brand in the middle of nowhere and they're all like, what a shill. But yeah, thank you again for the samples. It is fun to have new paints to mess with. I hope not too. I don't know. I need to go get some sleep as I'm up early. I swear it's not because of the coughing on stream. Well, thank you. Maybe I need an emote about this. You just like scaring people away. Wow, that's... What is happening right now? Isn't my camera centered? Yeah, there's center. There's center. Get it. Hello? Okay, there we go. Bizarre. I don't know why my camera's acting up so much today. Anywho, Mark Paints Minis, thank you so much for those 5 gifted subs. That was very generous of you. And yeah, I hope you get some good sleep. I'm probably heading to bed pretty soon after stream ends tonight. I'm also a little sleepy, but honestly, painting these orcs with everyone, this is giving me energy again, which is nice. All right, we've got some kind of slapdash highlights going on here. Probably need to blend this a little bit. Let's try a little filter layer here. Actually, that does help. But yeah, just the white over gray and it not being totally full coverage does give a little bit of extra. And I think I can glaze over this with like some black or some gray. Black probably, if I really want to tone this down more dramatically. But I kind of like these crispy looking orcs, you know? Maybe I should tone down this corner though. Just for fun. I feel like I could just come in and... Oop. It's maybe a little too light even. Yeah, I just make the bottom a little bit grungier. Just adds a little bit, I guess. We'll see how it looks when it dries. Yay! Okay, we've got some chunky edge highlights here. We got some checkerboard. I'd say that shoulder pad's looking pretty damn good. I should, and I've only spent an hour on it. Oh god, I've spent an hour on a shoulder pad. No, I've spent an hour on a one shoulder pad for an orc boy, haven't I? See, that's not good. That's not what you want. It's not what I want for myself. Want to know a trick for checkers? I'll take a trick for checkers. What's your trick? Let's just glaze the upward facing surfaces here a little bit bluer. Just to differentiate them. Maybe that's how we'll do this. You can paint over pencil reliably. Draw through it with a pencil. See, when I've done that, I haven't been able to paint over the pencil, and I see a little bit, it's a pencil poking out. I've also found, and maybe this is just because I wasn't practicing with the technique enough, I didn't really find that it made my grids better. Maybe if I did a really large one. Weird. Yeah, or maybe I'm just stubborn, to be honest. I don't know that it actually makes the difference I'm talking about. But yeah, I don't know. I've always found that it leaves pencil marks behind. And I feel like the grids I get just freehand just look, I mean, it's not entirely consistent, but it just feels lively. They look alright, you know? I don't know why I do one square at a time, but it's just like how it looks. Even if there's tiny variations in the exact size and spacing of the squares, if they're not perfectly straight, I think as long as they're close enough that they look neat, and this one could use some neatening up, I think that it almost just gives the imperfection of it, I think gives them a certain warmth that I like. This could also just be cope. This could absolutely be me coping with the fact that I'm just being stubborn and lazy and not doing the thing I should do. Not sure which one it is. Maybe I should experiment with the pencil grid technique again. Is it just my super ego talking, or do I have a point? Find out next time. Orks are imperfect, so I agree. Yeah, it's true. You know, I think that Orks would definitely crump a grot that didn't do a good job painting the checkerboards. So, like, they will paint them nicely. Because it's the grots painting them, and grots care. If only for selfish reasons, grots care. But yeah, I don't think they're that perfectionistic. That's my headcanon, at least. I don't love the metallics on this. I don't love how I'm using metallics right now. Let's... do something better for this one. Or maybe I'll just repaint those metallics from scratch. Yeah, I don't like how I had the metals integrated here. So we might come back in once that dries and take care of that. Oh, let's try something here. I really like the look of like black and steel along the thick parts of blades here. I'm just gonna glaze this down. Ooh. A little more. Yeah, okay. That's doing something. Oh, now I'm finger painting. Okay, now we need a lighter metallic. Need silver? Let's do some nice... Let's do some metallic edge highlights, actually. Gonna put the metallic paint on my wet palette so that someone in the comments will remind me why I shouldn't do that. Someone in chat remind me why I shouldn't do that, please. I feel like I've been told I shouldn't do that. I want a darker gunmetal highlight up there. Oops. I feel like that's gonna work better than the super bright. For like the top at least. Oh my god. It's all medium. Oh, that's like entirely medium. Hold on, we gotta put that back. Gonna mess up the chemistry of the paint. Okay. Metallic paint's not coming out exactly how I want. Let's see what I'm actually doing. See, very runny. I was shaking it, it just still came out runny. There we go. That's how that's supposed to look. Oh, hi Nitro, what's up? You checking it out? You taking it in? You wondering why I'm the only one who's home right now? Oh, he's definitely wondering why I'm the only one who's home right now. He just heard a tiny little noise and he looked at the door. Yeah, me too, buddy. I'm waiting for her to get home, too. Ugh. This is certainly an area where I might want to improve. I'm doing these knives. You know, these choppas. I mean, this is looking okay. It's got something going for it. Oh my god. Oh, shit. Hold. Okay. Hold on. Okay, I think I got it. Huh. Oh. Alright, Nico picked up some paint with his tail. As you can see. But it's handled, and he no longer has paint on his tail, and he's pissed off at me for touching his tail so much, but... You know. Sometimes we have to do these things. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I just feel like I want to get a little better at doing blades and stuff. Hmm. Alright, I'll let that dry for a second. So I think I need to paint the black section of the choppa here more like the armor. So not use metallics for edge highlights there. And for the rest of it, I might want to use my liquid metals so I can keep more of the transparency and blend things smoothly. Although it's looking alright right now. Cool. So that definitely makes the handle stick out. Also a nice edge highlight for the top of the choppa. Top of the choppa. It's fun to say. Top of the choppa. Top of the choppa to you. Cool. That's looking pretty cool. Let's try liquid metals. Toss one on the pallet over there. Use a synthetic brush for these. Just to be safe. Okay. Now we can go in and highlight. Okay, it's at least interesting now. I wonder if this just might need some corner highlights. A little bit of white here and there. Really make it jump. The Wilds, that is an interesting first chat there. Welcome to stream. I don't know that I'm following necessarily, but glad you're here. First chat coming in hot. Point, marry, kill, pizza, burrito, sushi. Kill sushi? Why? It's a good conversation starter, but why? Sushi's so good. Using point for safety, and I appreciate you for that. What's the problem with sushi? Burritos are a good life partner choice. There's a lot of variety there. Oh, I thought that was your order. Unfortunately, I might have to kill pizza. I love pizza, but pizza does not love me back. Sushi would be boink. That's fun for a bit, but not forever. And burritos would be my forever because, you know, burritos have a lot of variety to them. You can eat breakfast burritos, you can eat dinner burritos, you can put all the sorts of stuff in them. Burritos are a very versatile food group. I wouldn't get tired of them. Because you know what a lunch wrap is? That's a burrito. I think. I think it's close enough to burrito that it wouldn't be cheating. So that's what I'm gonna say. You have to have an answer to this if you're coming into my chat though, right? Like surely you have an answer to your own question, right? You have opinions, and now we're gonna fight about them. How'd you find my stream, by the way? Always curious to find out. Usually people stumble across me either because I get shouted out in a friend stream or they're just browsing the category, which is rare but super cool when it happens. Sushi to me is just slimy fish sticks. Okay. Mary pizza, understandable. Pizza is good. It just doesn't love me back, you know? I'm lactose intolerant, I have acid reflux, I'm trying to lose weight, like pizza doesn't do any of that. Search for miniatures and models when browsing, went into another stream and the vibe was not it. Okay, well hopefully the vibe is it here. I presume if you're in this category you paint minis or you think about painting minis. What do you paint? All my normal viewers are getting sleepy and working on their own projects, but I do genuinely love figuring out what people paint and like talking to people about nerd stuff. That's the whole reason I'm here. I'm not making a ton of money on this thing. So it's really just an excuse to talk to people. Also, what do we think of this choppa? I think it's looking pretty nice right now. I'm pretty happy with this. Oh, wow, that brush is angry. You know, I'm just gonna make myself feel better and say that it's okay I'm taking so long on this one orc boy, because it's practice. It's practice. Let's see. You paint D&D minis. Oh, I got a couple D&D minis. Hold on. They're not the best. One sec. By a couple, I mean I have an entire adventuring party worth of D&D minis. Watch out. Here they are. I actually just painted some recently. Let's see. Oh, this was the recent one. So, I have a metric butt ton of paint to prep for a fun thing I'm doing in July. Okay, okay. Well, good luck with your big project. So I've been messing with the Hero Forge minis. So I have, this is actually my player character. It's a Drow Road. And I did this first one. The eyes are haunting. Eyes are not good. I just did black eyes for this second one. So this is the first one. She's okay. And we kept joking about how my character was short. And so I decided to make it canon and make my character really short. And so I did a little bit more of a dynamic pose. This is like a custom Hero Forge pose. And I've been playing around a lot with how I'm painting black. And so I tried a lot of new techniques. So this is like blue from the top and then a black ink from the bottom because it's glossy. And my neighbor, who's a really great painter, just taught me that gloss makes things darker. So I've got a very nice inky black from underneath up into like this dark blue up top. It's very shadowy that way. The cape looks super nice. And then I just threw some very chippy little edge highlights on here, which aren't the most refined, but yeah, overall she just looks like super cool and moody now, and I really like this glow up. The eyes will forever haunt me. Ugh. Very hard to paint eyes on Hero Forge minis. But the other recent project is we've got a new addition to the party. We're playing Acquisitions Incorporated, and this guy just wanted to play like an accountant. This face is haunting. Sorry, this face is terrible. I'm really bad at these Hero Forge minis. But I'm currently working on making a raging form for him because he's a barbarian. So I got the same mini and I made all the proportions huge. And instead of extending his hand gracefully, he's like beckoning you to fight, which I think is funny. And anyway, you can also see his pink socks, which I'm starting to work on. This is all very rough. I was just getting the concept down. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the other one to show off here is Dorko the Goblin. Dorko helps. I painted this guy. I think this is a WizKids model. And I had a fun time with him. He's currently in another city doing his own quest because we didn't want him to die. And I didn't want him to get too big of a head and think he got an equal share of the business. But anyway, here's the rest of the party. Not my best minis, but they worked. And my adventuring party really appreciates having minis of themselves. And I have learned a lot about painting Hero Forge and printing Hero Forge, and so my new ones are looking significantly better. But anyway, I have been doing D&D painting though recently, and it's been super fun because it's like a great way to share the hobby with my friends. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. What sort of stuff do you paint, Wilds? Or the Wilds? Apologies for getting a little too casual there and too familiar. I assume WizKids minis, or do you print them as well? I am curious where people get their stuff. They look very good. I appreciate you saying so. One of the things about me is I'm a little bit of a perfectionist in recovery, and so I really have a high standard for the stuff I make. And right now, I'm actually trying to increase the standard of my orcs that I've painted for 40k. Because most of these guys, I did a speed painting, so I just painted them very quick and choppy and fast, and they look fine for gaming, but I'm just trying to make everything look a little bit nicer. You can see there's quite a big difference in the detail here. So that's what I'm working on currently. And specifically, I'm experimenting with different painting techniques that I want to use in order to make my orc boys look better. I'm not necessarily just grinding through the army painting right now, although I do have plans for that. I just don't know exactly when they're going to happen. Life's a little unpredictable for me right now. But I am making plans. Okay. I'm starting to edge highlight this, and I realize I'm actually skipping a step here. So this little slugga here, this little basically sawed-off shotgun is what this is. It needs to be, what's the word, better? It just needs to have the details filled out because it's looking a little silly. Oh, either name is fine by me. Okay, gotcha. Oh, I've got an ad starting in a few minutes. Sorry, I can't prevent those from happening. I run the minimum amount I can, but just hang out when that happens. I find things on Thingiverse and have friends print them. Right now I'm painting skeletons, Leonin, futuristic guardsmen, and druids, as well as a very big purple worm that I'm trying to not let intimidate me, but I'm failing that check. Painting big creatures like that is definitely challenging. I feel like I've seen YouTube tutorials on doing that specifically, so maybe give one of those a shot. I think it's probably Vincent Venturella. Look up Hobby Cheating on YouTube if you haven't seen that series yet. Fantastic tutorials. I really love those. I think he has one specifically on painting large creatures and monsters. How to make the skin look good. Hey, did you get rained out? Oh my god. Soaking wet, my fiance is. Okay, you can't quite tell with the lighting. She's a little reflective. 50 feet from head to tail he is.
Yep, it's just from running to the door.
Oh, okay.
I got the bike and no problem.
Hey, congratulations.
Thanks, I own a bike now.
Yay. Ooh. Well, enjoy your motorcycle. I'll come check it out when I'm done streaming. Did you come back with onions?
Nice have onions, okay?
Anyway, inside joke, sorry. I once went out for onions and it was raining and I was like, yeah, I can walk to the store. And I forgot how far the store was. And by the time I remembered, I was like, yeah, too late to turn back.
Yeah, I gotta go bring the truck back.
Oh, yeah.
Like, your truck.
Bring me back my baby. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I also still have to get this thing registered.
Okay.
I might take some time off tomorrow and have Ramon drive me.
Sure, yeah. Makes sense. Love you too. That works for me, babe. Good luck. Anywho, that's the idea. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if you haven't seen the hobby cheating videos, they're fantastic. See, if there's anyone in the hobby, especially content creators, that I would love to talk to, they have a good conversation with, I think it would be Vincent Venturella, because apparently he does his stuff as a hobby. Like, he has like 5 podcasts and he publishes videos all the time, but he's a hobbyist and he goes to cons and he teaches. But apparently he has like a full-time job outside of that. And I would love to learn how the hell he does that, because maybe that's something I would like for my life, because I don't know that I would ever go full-time on content, but it would be cool to be able to be consistent and do cool things. And so I'd love to pick his brain sometimes about that. Just manifesting that into the world there. You never know. But I would love to know how that guy does things. I just think that's pretty neat. Painting a little orc symbol here, just pulling it out so it's a different color. Have to get another coat there in a sec. All right, we've got this magazine now is a different color, which I like. Very bright. It's gonna need probably a wash, an acrylic wash to get it down. And then, oh, I want the leather up here to be a different color. Let's do a little brown for that. Here, screw it. Let's, oh, that's gnawed bone. I know what gnawed bone looks like. Let's just use my normal leather color. Oh, actually, I think I use Tree Ancient for my leather right now. Let's try Beastly, though, because Tree Ancient's what I use on my base. Let's try Beastie Brown. Oh, ad break's running. Oops. And then this piece on the side being metallic, I think is fine. I think that makes sense. See. Oh, I'm really looking forward to, I've got a painting recipe for yellow, also from my neighbor, that I really want to try out. And I need to find like a fluorescent yellow paint for it. And I tried stopping in at a new hobby store near where I work that I haven't gone to before, although they've been getting into Warhammer recently, so I decided to stop by there. And it was very strange. They only had 2 types of paint. They had Citadel. Okay, understandable. Sorry, Warhammer paints now. Worlds are changing. They had Warhammer brand, and then they had Duncan Rhodes 2 thin coats, which I've never seen in person before. Interesting as a second paint option in a store. I don't know how that ended up happening. Someone there must really like Duncan Rhodes, because I was like, how is no shade. I've never used those paints before. I was just like, you've got 2 options and this is the second one? This is like such a rare paint to find in the wild. I just couldn't believe it. It was wild. But if he had a fluorescent yellow, I would have bought it, but unfortunately he did not, so, you know. But funny thing I was gonna say though is I ran into actually one of my colleagues from work. Works in a different department, but apparently he knows the owner, like he's related indirectly. And so yeah, I walked in there and he like waved and he was like, "Hey Drackle," except he said my real name. He was like, "Hey Maya," and I was like, "Oh fuck, hello." I forgot you worked here, because I remembered him briefly mentioning that he worked there at one point in like the lunchroom like months ago. And so that was kind of fun. So unfortunately, I didn't get to throw any money his way, but we did have a nice little conversation, which was cool. The hobby is very funny like that sometimes. I was very tempted to pick up the Orks Combat Patrol that they had there, because that thing's going out of print soon. But I don't have the budget for that right now, and I don't need that many beast snagga boys, you know? It's a lot of beastie boys. And I don't know that I'm going to play with them. And I don't know that I'm going to have the time to paint them anytime soon, so I think we'll stick with my Mechwa situation and just keep mainlining that. Save my money for the combo boxes that are going to come out this year, which I'm expecting there's going to be quite a few of those. Alright, first level edge highlights on the Shuda here, or the Slugga, looking pretty nice. Let's layer it up. These metallics are going to need some acrylic washes to really make them look grungy and nice. So be patient there. Gonna bust out this little bangle here with a brighter color and give it some contrast. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, now we're really getting sucked into the details, ain't we? I'm gonna do the underside of this little wrist cuff brown because it looks like this is leather and then the top is metal. That's a very extra thing to do. Beautiful. Okay. Now he's looking proper. Yeah, he's looking more proper now. There's just like, now that all the different materials are painted differently, there's just a little bit more, a little more dynamism, a little more texture to everything. Now we can go back to the super precise edge highlighting times. So once I get that new, Wilds, you're still hanging around. I know you're not much of a Warhammer player, but they are launching a new edition of the game, and they are going to be putting a bunch of Orks and Space Marines in a box. And so I'm going to buy the Orks. And so I'm very much looking forward to painting that, and I'm sort of planning around that. So there's going to be a whole new set of Orks. Actually, an update to this exact model kit, which is from like 2008. Still holds up, though. But these guys have got to be looking nice so that they look good compared to the new sculpts. I don't think the old boy sculpt looks bad, it's just a little bit... The new ones just always blow the socks off the older models, is all. So I want to give these guys a fighting chance. That's cool. Yeah, the game pretty much... They pretty much launch a new edition every 3 years. And the way it's been going recently is that every 6 years the game completely starts over with a fresh rule set. And then the 3-year updates are like revision to what was already set up before. So they're changing the basic rules of the game quite often. And a lot of people think it's like, oh, it's just a way of selling models, which like it kind of is. It's true, it kind of is. They do shape things up a lot to make people buy different stuff. Undeniably, yes. But I feel like they're really refining the way the game works and trying to make it more approachable for new people this time around. And they did that with the last edition of the game, which launched in 2023. And I think it's a positive direction overall for the game. So a lot of what they're doing this time around, orcs are in the game sort of a horde army of lovable hooligans who are not very smart but hit hard, right? So they're kind of barbarians. And so you think that when you're going to play orcs, it's going to be unga bunga, shove my guys down the board and hit you and hope they die. And orcs are actually a control army. They're actually super technical if you want to play them well, because if you just unga bunga down the board, you're going to win about 35% of your games. Very D&D 5e. Okay, explain. I played 5e, but what do you mean? Oh, as far as being more accessible to people? Yeah, exactly. That's definitely the direction that the game is going recently. But back to the point about orcs. Orcs, you'd think they're supposed to be like unga bunga down the board, and you're just gonna smash things, and sometimes you'll win, sometimes you'll lose. But it turns out you'll lose about 60% of your games if you do that. And it's kind of a bad play experience for me, personally, because it's just kind of like flipping a coin and seeing how the result comes up, but taking 2 hours to do so. Like, there's not a lot of meaningful gameplay that happens when you're just shoving stuff down the board. So if you want to play a little bit more technically, you have to do a lot of board control. Your main advantage as an orc player is that you get a lot more units than everyone else, and they're cheaper. Cheaper to field, not cheaper to buy. It's an expensive army. God, it's an expensive army. But you get more bodies, and they stick around. They're not tougher than anyone else. They're not stronger than anyone else. They're actually a lot weaker, but they're much cheaper. And that's the main advantage that they have as orcs, or we have as orcs. And so that leads you to doing weird stuff where, like, the way you move things is very important. You're trying to avoid them getting shot. There's a lot of movement shenanigans and fight phase intricacies. It's almost like, I have a hard time relating this to D&D, but it's almost like playing a control deck in Magic, because you have to know exactly when you get priority every single time. And if you don't know when you get when priority happens, if you don't have that stuff memorized, you can't play a control deck. Same way, you can't really play a control army like orcs if you don't understand every single nuance of the movement phase. Anything you don't understand just gets exploited by your enemy and you just lose the game, right? Trying to play a fair fight as orcs doesn't really work. So what they're doing with with 11th edition, is they are streamlining all the melee rules to make them much more intuitive and easier for new players. I think shooting is also getting a buff to match, but it used to be that there was all sorts of tricky stuff where, like, you would have multiple units charge the same thing, and then one unit would get in close, and so, oh, technically I can't get within 1 inch to fight that, so I get to go over here and fight this thing, and all these weird, like, rules lawyer clauses. They're pretty much getting rid of all of that as far as I can tell. And they're just making it much more intuitive. Which I think is nice. And I'm hoping that it just means that playing orcs, if not them being stronger, which is unlikely given that they're the launch mascots this edition, they tend to have to nerf those. If not stronger, though, I think they'll be a little more straightforward. I hope they're going to be a little bit less frustrating to play. Because as a new player who's only ever played orcs, I gotta say they're a little frustrating to play. So I guess I'm just hopeful for that. There's a lot of ways to get them wrong and have a bad play experience. Maybe like D&D 4e. And I'm just looking forward to further streamlining. So yeah, anyway, a little bit more about 40k for you as a D&D person. Fun. Okay, just a little bit more highlights on the leather there. I think he's looking pretty nice. Kind of quick and dirty edge highlights on the slugga there, but no, that's looking pretty sick. Let's do those washes that I mentioned on the metal just to make that look a little nicer. So we're gonna do Seraph and Sepia, which is sepia, and Nuln Oil, which is like an oily black. These are the wilds. I don't know if you've messed with these before. These are very nice. These are wash paints. They're basically thinned down paint that goes on kind of transparently, but then concentrates in the recesses, and it's very nice for weathering things. Okay, we're fully in. Oh, come on. Okay. Oh, it keeps trying to focus on my palette. It keeps seeing all the stuff in the palette. It's like, ooh, that's colorful. I want that. No, no, no. Plain background. See, so now everything is kind of getting tarnished and like browned. That's the sepia wash. And I can go a little bit heavier and make everything look rusty. Which is super fun. But yeah, these are just great for speed painting, and I use these pretty generously on my smaller minis because they do good work on small stuff. Yeah, just making the metal look ever so slightly rusty. Should actually be concentrating it into the areas that I really want to weather, like the corners of everything. Now, I don't think the blade itself will be rusty, but maybe the end here will be. Like this bolt, this bangle, this bangle. Yeah, I think those would be rusty. And then we'll pick some black up here. Just tone down this whole blade. Just make it look a little more distressed. And then I'll also tone down right here on these grates just to get them nice and dark. Wipe off the excess. Yeah. See that it's subtle, but it really does make a big difference in making it more lifelike. That's I love washes for that. Washes are a little bit of a shortcut. They're not a free lunch. You can do anything you can do with a wash. You can do by hand with layering, given enough time, and that result will probably be nicer, but we don't always have time for that, even though I've spent pretty much 2 hours painting one orc. Oops. You know. If I was actually trying to finish a project here, I wouldn't have time for that. Right, so now this one is base coated with white, and because it's white, now I've got a really great foundation for putting yellow or red on here. I'm not sure which one I want. I think I want red. Let's grab some red. Got some red on the brush. It's only ate away at some of the detail that was a bit thick. Let's just take the extra away here. Okay, that's good. And then once that dries, I'll just drop in some Known oil to get the dark parts of that to sort of shine again. Yeah, okay. Oh, let's do some sepia on the base as well. I really want to blend down these colors on my base here. I just did some dry brushing, so a little bit of a wash down here should help everything feel a little bit more grungy. After it dries, of course. It's gonna look very wet, which looks nice for mud, but don't get too excited. It doesn't stay that way. Then I'll have to repaint my base rims at some point. Okay, we'll let that dry. Throw in some black or not. Got some metal here. Throw in some black underneath. Maybe make the suggestion of a shadow. I don't know. Bob Ross, happy trees, whatever. We're just kind of going for it if we're using washes. That's pretty damn good looking. Maybe if I really wanted to keep going, which I do, that's what I'm going to. I would just go ahead and edge highlight this back panel. I'm trying to rush. I can feel that currently. So let's slow that down. Curious what happens if I just go almost straight to the highest level edge highlight and I don't do the intermediate steps. Oh yeah, no getting around it. That doesn't look as nice. That looks weird. Yep. That looks weird. Okay, let's go back and do this correctly then. Okay. That's pretty nice. I mean, that's very nice for an orc boy. Oh my god. That's it's super extra. It's wow. If I had a whole army that looked like this, I'd be very proud and you know, if I had a whole army like this, it would probably be 2028. That's damn, that's really inspiring actually to know that I can paint to a level like this. And I'm really not sweating too much about it. I mean, I spent a lot of time here. If I had set out my steps a little bit more carefully and did my pre-planning in order to batch paint a bit more rather than just, you know, flopping around different colors, experimenting, going back and forth, just going, oh, what should I paint next? You know, sort of Sunday driving it. If I was actually doing this with focus and intention, I could probably move a lot faster than this. But yeah, damn. Let's highlight them pants. Come on. Oh, so many things to do. Man, to think I didn't even do the pants on this guy. There's always so many things to do. I guess this is the struggle of mini painting. Blend those in a little. Okay, yeah, well, we can come back into scratchy details on those later if I really want to. Anywho, I think that one's looking pretty neat. Ignore how bright the jeans are, they will tone down as this dries. I'm gonna blend this out a little. Might have overshot it with the jeans. I should write down my recipes. Anywho, yeah, I feel like that's looking pretty nice. Where are my two? Okay, there we go. So here's the two that I've got pretty much done. All the edge highlights are on. You know, they're more or less finished up. This one maybe has better pants on the right. This one's maybe got a better choppa on the left. But overall, I'm pretty damn pleased with these. Okay, well, that's gonna be it for this stream. I hope to have a different project queued up other than just experimenting with my orc boys. I don't feel like for Tuesday night streams it makes sense for me to go ahead and finish the other 9 of these, or 8 of these, up to this exact same standard. Although that could be cool for like, god damn that guy. It could be cool for like a Saturday stream or something. Like if I'm just gonna sit here and paint for like 4 hours, maybe y'all can hang out and do that with me. But for a Tuesday night, I would run out of time. So maybe this weekend, if I feel up for it, I'll come back through and we'll get this whole squad jumping to the same level as these two that I've already finished. Do I have all of them here? I'm one short. What the hell? Oh, there it is. It's hiding. I literally couldn't see that from where I was. Okay, so maybe that'll be the plan. I'm gonna aim to see if I can get online this weekend and try to batch paint up the rest of these boys to make them look finished so that I'm not spending a 4th stream, like an entire month, just painting one squad of boys. That would be absurd. But I'm learning a lot, and this is inspiring me to go back and retouch a lot of my other stuff. So, you know, maybe I'll, I'm thinking that might be a good video series. Now, I'm not going to put out any videos soon, but I can at least get the footage for it and put them out later. So, yeah, Panda, you're welcome for the stream. I'm rambling at this point. Hey, YouTube votes, thank you for being here. We'll see if we put up another one of these or if this is it for the Making My Boys Look Less Sad series. So if you watch the end of my VODs, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you next week.